Buried in Phil's boxes, there are some reel-to-reel recordings labeled The Ben Farnsworth Interview, as well as a cassette tape with the same label. The audio piece is a few short radio spots that Phil gave to Ben Farnsworth, but there is no date. Farnsworth was working for WCBS Radio 88 in New York City from the 70s and into the 80s. At this point in Phil's career, he was no longer working for the state and was running his own detective agency. Being his own man, the interviews reveal a version of Phil that shows exactly how disgraced he was that a conviction was never sought.
As far as I'm concerned, Albert DeSalvo is the Boston Strangler, and I can't see anybody else. Nobody's come forward. The murders have stopped since he's been incarcerated, and we've had strangling, but not that type.
The death of Albert DeSalvo buries forever the opportunity to bring him into court and prove that he was the infamous Boston Strangler. But Philip DiNatale says there is no doubt in his mind that Albert killed at least 13 women and raped hundreds more. DiNatale was one of 2 detectives assigned full-time to the stranglings. He's now a private investigator in Boston. DiNatale says he will always be disappointed that DeSalvo was convicted of lesser assault charges, leaving the stranglings officially unsolved.
It bothers me that we haven't gone to court. We have the evidence. Certain attorneys, prosecuting attorneys, says no. But we have the evidence. Albert DeSalvo is the evidence himself. He wants to confess to it. He wants to confess to things that only the strangler himself would know, but nobody wants to listen to him. And they're giving this talk that we have no physical evidence. The physical evidence is Albert DeSalvo himself. We've had in this United States where people confess to crimes, they go to court, people listen, they check everything out, they find out everything is right, and they go to court on it. But here's a man that wants to confess to the crimes, but nobody wants to listen to him.
Phil was not one to leave things undone, and this case was forever going to be the scratch he couldn't itch. It was the one that got away. But ironically, it was only due to politics and not the common misconception it was incompetent police work.
DeSalvo was only convicted of assault, robbery, and burglary charges, but DiNatale says he would have been brought to trial for the stranglings had it not been for the internal jealousies in the police department and the maneuvering of DeSalvo's attorney at the time, F. Lee Bailey. DiNatale says he has information which has never been released on the case, and someday he may write a book about it.
A real story would be of the maneuvering behind the scenes and political jealousy, even jealousy in the police department and rivalry between different police departments that went on that wanted to prosecute the cases.
Albert DeSalvo once confessed to the stranglings, but then on the advice of counsel retracted the confession. DiNatale says he's sure if DeSalvo had lived, he would have sooner or later confessed to the crimes again, been brought to trial, and convicted of the strangling of 13 Boston women. This is Ben Farnsworth in Boston.